There are people's names and things that are near and dear. Some of the same things happening now happened in the days of yesteryear. In spite of the lies alleged and things that were said about Mr. George Floyd, we saw the police murder Mr. George Floyd in plain view. So what are we supposed to do? Just still stand by silent, idle, saying nothing, doing nothing, continue letting the police do to black and brown people what they want to do? No. Because we are the sisters and the brothers of the many, many others, of the Mrs. and the Mrs. George Floyd. The court of the peoples are no longer in session because God is now in charge. So now we are marching and mourning to the memory of Mr. George Floyd, standing strong and tall. It won't be justice just for some this time, because now it will be justice for us all. Mr. George Floyd died with his mother on his mind. The George Floyds of history up and down through time. But by his own account, Mr. George Floyd died with his mother on his mind. When Mr. George Floyd was crying and calling out to his mother, his voice wasn't shameful, neither was his voice in vain. But some way, somehow, she heard her son when he was crying out her name. Mama, mama, I love you, mama. I can't breathe. Please, please, I can't breathe. Mr. George Floyd begged and pleaded for his life every breath of the way until he passed away. 9 minutes, 29 seconds, that was the sad end of Mr. George Floyd's day. Derek Chauvin is a racist hater, not a motivator, that quickly called death to Mr. George Floyd's self. What Derek Chauvin did to Mr. George Floyd was a death effect, because he never took his knee off Mr. George Floyd's neck. Those other officers that were there, they are guilty too, because each of them did what they chose to do. Mr. George Floyd, we are not saying goodbye. We are not saying we won't cry. We love you. We'll see you on high, and we'll meet you at your mansion in the sky. Love, love, love. Peace, love, and understanding, and God's love to the world. Psalm 24:1. The earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof, the world and they that dwell therein. We got just us, but we didn't get justice. We got a victory, but we didn't get the victory. But oh, what a beautiful and a miracle and a mighty God we serve. We love you, Mr. George Floyd, and God loves us all. And God loves us all.